Nice and slow.
I'm not the master still. Okay. This one's going to be the smith. This Amur man is of an impressive build. Towering above the countertop, his skin is the dusty blue of the deeper oceans, and his thick arms boast corded muscles. Small ears frame a square jaw face, coated in spear suit and arcing black tattoos alike. He offers you a broad smile as you approach. Welcome, the first new face I've seen in quite some time. What can I do for you? Is this your shop? It is. Been here near on 20 years now. Seen all manner of things over the years. Good luck and bad. Tuatanu glances at the guards standing watch along the wall, but the Black Hammer Smithery remains. He doesn't like them then. You come to us at a strange time, I'm afraid. The stock's not what it used to be, but we've fine weapons and armour to offer yet, all forged right here at Black Hammer. Sure, what happened? We just don't have the supplies. Been expecting the next delivery for near on a week now and haven't seen a sign of it. Have to expect that they were hit by bandits. The road out east is crawling with them. Or my workers ran off with a wagon themselves, maybe to make some coin. You never know, mate. As if that lot would dare. You never know, mate. If opportunity arises, you know. He's right about the bandits. The dire situation in villages like this and exodus to the cities have created far too many opportunities for unscrupulous sorts. Wataru scratches his jaw thinking, if you happen to be heading that way, maybe you could keep an eye out for a supply wagon, or my shipment at least. They'll be cutting through the Black Meadow, I expect. Only good road for it. As it is, most of our weapons go to His Grace, Lord Hadret. Glances at the nearby guard, and that's as it should be, but it doesn't leave much for outsiders. We just don't have the iron. I'll see them back and safe and sound. I appreciate you trying anyhow. If you bring back the supplies at least, I'll have much more to offer. A discount to start. Good. And if you find my workers, you give them a good smack upside the head for me. Oops, that's down the head. Oops, that's down the head.
Hail and well.
Let's see your wares then. Never going to buy any of them, but you know. Cape as well. Disengage. Now, from what I can remember, we want to always have a hook and a pry bar. I will always have them with me. Right. Yes, you always want to make sure you have these things. So a hammer and chisel, a hook, and the pry bar. Just in case. I've been told. So that's what I'm going to do. Ooh.
I'll see what I can find.
I'll see what I can find, brother. Oh. Again, I can do that. Right. Dyrwood, Part 2, the Broken Stone War. More war. In 2626, a group of farmers, while clearing farmland for planting, accidentally knocked down one of the ancient Adra manholes on their land. This innocent act drew the ire of the native population and started that would come to be known as the Broken Stone War. When it was finally over, several thousand colonists have been killed as well as hundreds the Glanfathans. Even though the war was technically over, the Glanfathans escalated their attacks on the settlers over the next 2 years using vicious tactics that left many colonists, several military figures, an earl and 6 thanes dead. Love lost there then, unable to stop the Glanfathans' attack, the earls elected Earl Egwin Haggart to the position of Gref. Well respected and known to be a master of military tactics, he was tasked with dealing with the Glanfathan threat, and ran thought with the Glanfathans, led by an Orlan named Reg, for the next 2 years. Neither side can gain the upper hand on the other, resulting in a tense stalemate between the two groups. Because of this stalemate, the hostilities slowly died off, and in 2631, the Dyrwoodian people signed a treaty with the Glanfathans. Reg would step down, the Glanfathans would stop their attacks altogether, and the Dyrwoodian people would leave the ruins alone. This treaty angered the nobility in Edir, as it brought to a halt the supply of artifacts. Edrond also tried to get a practice of the slavery outlawed, but this was not successful. Because of this, the peace between the Dyrwood and Eorgrafath is uneasy and tumultuous. Small patches of rural violence still cropped up, but were easily dealt with as neither side wanted another war. This man and woman appear to have been in deep conversation, working at closing 2 bulging satchels. They move to embrace until the woman notices you approach and pauses, her smile faltering a little.
Good day, stranger.
Can we help you? She looks to her companion, brows furrowing with confusion. Do you know this man? Oh, Nonton. We know him. Yes, I think we met in Fairwood. I warned him about the bear. He inclines his head. Glad to see you've made it. Was there something else you wanted? You seem to be in a hurry. Yes, I imagine so. Ingroed laughs. We're packing for a trip, actually. I've been meaning to visit Defiance Bay. She looks at Nonton. Well, in truth, I think I've had my fill of this town. Nonton reaches to take her hand. It's time for some new scenery, he says. Anything you can tell me about the Gilded Vale? Ingrid smells wily, honoured that you want to be moving as soon as you can. You have seen the tree, I imagine, but the rot goes deeper. If you were looking for work, I say you have a better chance of it elsewhere. We're headed for Defiance Bay ourselves. Okay. We steal all your stuff then.
Quiet.
Right. You like it or not? Steal that as well then, I suppose. I don't even have to buy it, folks. Bought that for no reason. And that's why you always want to be in scouting mode going forward. Cottage. Dyrwood Part 3, the War of Black Trees and Rice. Oh, geez, they've done another war. I thought they didn't want another war. So after the Broken Stone War, the Dyrwood would see peace and prosperity for 21 years. Aside from the occasional slave uprising or border dispute, nothing of anything note happened in 2652. Some of the Dyrwoodian earls tried, or tired of being restricted by the treaties, and encouraged by imperial sources, defied the decrees and actively sent people to loot the ruins in Dyrwood. Response from the Glanfathans was not immediate, but when it came, it was brutal and bloody. There was a slave uprising, and Reg resumed control of his guerrilla fighters. A contingent of Delignum joined the forces as well, making fights in the forests even more deadly for the Dyrwoodian soldiers. Dire. Egwin then far too old to lead Dyrwood, in the war, sent his son Admeth to deal with the situation. Admeth, showing the same tactical prowess as his father, set fire to the forest at the Iskir River and then blocks the forces retreating from the Inverno. Some of the Grandvathans escaped, but thousands would die in the blaze. Reg is captured and sent to holding in New Hormar, then goes on that goes on for several months, and Admeth uses his same tactic and many times to flush Grandvathans and Delmine from the battlefield. The entire war lasts less than a year. The Dyrwood eventually wins. Dry. The Drywood eventually wins, but at a terrible price. This conflict would come to be known as the War of Black Trees. I do apologise, folks. I keep thinking of one thing and my brain says something else. I just don't understand why. I can't say the same word over and over again. So tragedy struck the Dyrwood. Look, just deal with it, okay? Just deal with it. In 2654, when Edwin, whose health had been waning, succumbed and passed on to the cycle, Reg, who had developed a begrudging respect for his constant adversary over the years they had fought, sent Admeth his sincere condolences from captivity in New Hormar. Admeth summoned his father's place as Gref, assumed his father's place as Gref over the Dyrwood. The other earls disliked this development and began publicly rebuking Admeth's decrees. In 2655, Admeth, tired of the problems caused by the recalcitrant earls, I'm going to say that, but have support of the new Valian Ducks and the common folks of Dyrwood, having saved them from the Grandvathans, delivers an ultimatum to the Forecorning of Adir. He demands to be made a Griff Palatine. This would give him the authority and power over all the earls, their holdings, and their titles. Dyrwood will become a Palatine. Dyrwood would become a Palatinate instead of a Grey Farm. Okay then. The Volcanon, who did not want to have to deal with a rebellion while trying to establish a hold on the Forlash trade network in Retissus, begrudgingly agreed to Admeth's demands. Admeth would use the new power to bring all the heirs in line. As a trade-off for being given this power, Admeth put money and research into all of Dyrwood's ports to increase shipping traffic. In turn, this increased the Forecorning's income. Under Admeth's rule, Dyrwood saw 7 productive and profitable years. In 2662, they did what he tried for many years without success, bringing slavery to the end in Dyrwood. He negotiated the 10 Years Treaty, so called because it had been 10 years since the War of Black Trees. A timeline was established in which the slaves would be released. The owners would be compensated with money or land for each slave released. If they did not comply, the slaves would be taken and a fine will be levied against the owner. In return, the Grandvathans would open trade with Dyrwood and cede some of their territories to the Dyrwoodian government. In practice, meaning they would stop contesting the presence of those who lived and ruled there. Hundreds of coppers attempted to rebel against this. Admeth is expecting such a reaction, reacted accordingly, and the rebellion was quickly crushed. His agents then spread propaganda throughout the populace, making the Coppers' rebellion and its instigators seemed far worse than they truly were. This tactic worked, and they would be no more trouble.
Keeping quiet.
Keeping quiet. Yeah, but audio is weird. Like everything else is fine. It's just that audio blip from when they talk. Just overpowering. It's very weird that. What's going on? Out it all and find everything. Despite the rains, the stalks feel as dry and stiff as a locust husk. That's not good. Just there, weren't we? Yes. We know there's more grain in there, Trumbull. We won't settle for scraps while you go fat on our crops. A muffled shouting emerges from inside the mill. The first of you drunkards comes through this door, gets a shot between the eyes. Gods hear me, Swinner. I'll put you down like a dog. Come away for now, lads. But we'll be back, Trimble, and we'll have fair prices, or by the flame, we'll have a reckoning. Oh, well, that's good to know. Okay, investigate the food. That sounds ominous, doesn't it?
Keeping quiet.
Just to be safe. Just to be safe. An elven man stands before you. His relatively stocky build suggested a life of labour. His face is pale and drawn, and his eyes wide. Behind him, a younger man and woman exchange worried glances. The miller raises a club as you enter. It shakes violently in his grasp. Get back, if you value your life. Put that down before you hurt yourself. Hold on, I'm not here to hurt anyone. The miller hesitates, then lowers the club a faction. Who are you? Is Swolner roping foreigners into this little crusade now? Diplomat. I thought you could use some help. Those people out there seemed pretty angry. Really? Trumbull sighs relief. Healer's tits. Could I use a friendly face? I take it you heard some part of what that crowd's asking for? Grain. As if I've got it all tucked away somewhere. Sweener's been egging that lot on for days now. It's been keeping clear so far, but if things keep on like they are, I don't know how much longer we've got before things get messy. Please, if you're not here on his behalf, maybe you could speak to Swelner. He won't listen to me anymore. Just explain that we've all getting smaller rations now. We're all making sacrifices. I have some other questions. Yes? Who is Swinner? The dwarf, the one standing out there spreading lies among the villagers. Bastard's been here for decades, and he hasn't gotten any kinder with time. So what was the ruckus out there? Where to begin? Swinner's whipped them up into a froth, going on about the grain stores, claim I've hidden away most of it. All I do with the grain is sell it. I can't create it out of thin air, and I can't hand it out for free. I pay the farmers for the crops they bring in, and I sell what comes out of the mill. Most of it goes to the Black Hound on the west side of town for ale, and Swinner and his lot sure don't mind that spark. Yeah, you take a look at the fields on the way into town. The crops blighted, and most of what I is getting from the farmers, Chumber gestures to the sacks and containers. It's gone off, rotted through. I can't pay top prices for blighted wheat, and I've barely got enough good grain to go around. Swainer's hurling after things he has no right to. Maybe I ought to have a chat with Silner then. The mill all but sags with relief. I'd be grateful if you did. He won't listen to me anymore, but maybe you'll have better luck. Tell him we're all having a hard time of it, and we'll all have to make some sacrifices. We'll be in your debt for it, if you can convince him. All the food.
Keeping quiet.
So it goes yellow, 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 yellow. Father's a good one. Who's your father? Is that your father? Oh, that's your father. Okay. Yep. Alright. Guess you're speaking to your sweetie then. Been over there. I think so.
Nice and slow.
I don't think I've been over there. May as well go over here and back over there and up and down and left and right. And that was Nonton and that. Okay, so go in there.
Keeping quiet.
Of course, if it's grey, then it's obviously I've definitely been there. Then.
Keeping quiet.
Keeping quiet. How loud do you need to be? Aufra. I'll be stealing these things then. Doesn't seem like it. The worn dog-eared book is tilted, travels upon the callous sea. There's an etching illustration of a fast-finned leviathan. A Dyrwoodian woman is standing in front of the fireplace, humming a quiet tune to herself, or perhaps to her unborn child, but she is clearly quite pregnant. She turns her head slightly as you enter.
Hail, traveller.
Ooh. Well, finally, I was starting to think. The woman makes a startled noise once she turns around and sees, oh, I'm sorry, I was expecting someone else. She gives you a cautious smile. Can I help you? Nice cat. Aufra smiles brightly. Oh, thank you. She's a sweetheart. Keeps the house clean of mice too. Nice. Just arrived from Guildfell. I thought I'd get to know the locals. Were you with one of the caravans? She looks at you hopefully. Master Redeemers, by chance? I was, yes. I'm afraid the rest of the caravan was killed. Yes. Aufra covers her mouth with a hand, eyes wide with horror. For a few moments she can manage nothing but strangled voices grasping, her eyes brimming with tears. I knew. I told her it was a dangerous path to take. Calissa was always so certain she can't take on any danger. Aufra sniffs. Oh, my poor... Ah, sure is. My poor sister. I'm sorry, stranger. It's just... I can't believe she's gone. Well, she's more than gone. If only I hadn't called to her. If I haven't written to her, she might still be alive somewhere. Aufra's face crumples and solitary tear slides down her cheek. Why did you send for Callisto? Because she's pregnant, I would assume. Aufra wipes at her eyes. I'm worried about the baby. About the legacy. I told Callisto as much as I could, but all I know is that for a long time now, every child born in Gildyfell has been soulless, empty. It happens to so many mothers, and Lord Radric, he's exiled all of them, calling it a sign of the gods' disfavour, she sniffs. With my Horted gone, I don't know how I'd manage if I lost my home too. Hell, I hoped Callisto could help me. They say Ranga, the old midwife, knows a way to prevent a child being a hollowborn, but she moved south to Anslog Compass 2 seasons ago. The journey's too far for me. I can't make it as I am, but I don't have anyone else. Now with Callisto gone. More tears run down her face. Please, can you help me? What's in it for me? I'll find her. I'll find her. You will? Oh, God bless you. Here, I'll give you the coin to pay with you. You needn't trouble yourself with that. I think it's a drink she fashioned out of, well, I'm not sure, but it shouldn't be too much of a burden to carry it back. Slight positive. Okay. You have earned a reputation. Reputations can be held with communities or factions in Eastern Reach and will affect how members of the group respond to you. In some cases, friends or enemies of those groups will also react to your affiliations. Helping a group will increase your positive reputation with that group, and harming a group will increase your negative. It is possible to have a mix of positive and negative with a group if you help and harm them in equal measures. Oh, great. That's good to know. Angslog Compass is what we call the lagoon to the south. You'll have to cross the wilds to get there. That's what keeps me from trying it myself. She clasps her hands together. Thank you again, truly. You'll be saving us both. She sets a hand on her stomach, smiling through her tears. I can't steal your stuff though, can I?
Nice and slow.
Alright, so another questerino, eh? Okay. Why? Go back to that. Right, so all I've got is the end. Like I say, I'll wait until I get the other stuff done, and then we'll pick a deer. We'll get him in the group, and then yeah. So that's why. So if it's got a gold name, it's a backer. Okay, that's why I was that. I just read that just quite quickly there at the edge of my edge there. Okay.
Good day, stranger.
Hello. So I'd like a room, please. Of course, we keep them nice and tidy. Perception, mechanics, or resolve. I think I'll go with perception and mechanic. Your sleep is restless and fevered, assaulted by hisses and whispers, blanketed with a suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken to find yourself in front of Gilded Vale's gallows tree, the creaking of its ropes growing louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman whose face has shivered inward like mouldering fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side, and as you look at her, she looms larger and larger in your mind until she is mere inches from your face. Suddenly, her head snaps up and her eyes open, and they are empty, and behind them is a vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air, she speaks a word. Watcher. You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarf woman's breath still permeating your nostrils. Sweat burns down your face in thick droplets, and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman. You remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with the magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it fills you with a new queasy apprehension, you feel a strange compulsion to see this woman once more, if only to confirm she is truly dead.